Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to get your drums like Pyrex. All of you should know who he is by now, but if you don't, Pyrex is notorious for the extremely hard-hitting drums with the unique 808 and hi-hat patterns that just go crazy. So yeah, I'm going to go into detail about how I approach making a Pyrex type beat. I'm going to be using my new drum kit that I just dropped. Has a lot of hard drums in it, so if you're interested in purchasing that drum kit, I'll leave a link down in the description for that. But yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so I got FL Studio pulled up, and the first thing I want to do is pull in a sample to get started. So I want to find a sample that's in the BPM range of like 110 to like 125, and I want it to be like kind of a simple sample but also really dark. So I just downloaded this Zero pack, a free pack. I'm gonna go through and try to find one, pull it in, mess with it, and then after that we'll get into the drums. The first one's already perfect. I'm gonna pull it in, I'm gonna go down to 124 BPM. I'm gonna make sure it's cut correctly, take that out. And then I think I'm going to pitch it down. So I'm going to go here to stretch, turn it down to 118 BPM. And then I'm actually going to pitch it. I'm going to pitch it up 2 semitones. Go back to auto. Okay, that sounds good to me. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of these sections here. You got the original section. Then you got this section, the flute. Then you got this section with like a voice. There, and then the last section is just the basic melody. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these and just duplicate them over. Okay, so yeah, I have the sample set up for the drums now. I'm going to go ahead and play the sample just so you can hear how it sounds, and then we'll get into the drums. Alright, so now that I'm ready for the drums, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the master, and I'm going to throw an EQ on, boost some of the highs, and turn this knob up just a little bit. And for me, what that does is it boosts the hi-hats, like the super high frequencies, and then it also boosts the mid section of the 808 to make it stand out more and hit harder. So yeah, I just boost that on the EQ, and then I throw on a soft clipper. Now the next thing I'm going to do that's very important is pick out drums that match the vibe that I want to go for. First thing I'm going to do is find a rim. Okay, so I like that rim. I'm going to pull that in, and I'm just going to set that up. Okay, it sounds good to me. And then we're going to find a hi-hat. That sounds good. Okay, I like this hi-hat. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw in a 2-step pattern. Okay, and then I gotta find an 808, so I'm gonna pull in this short spins, and then I'm gonna find some hi-hats to go with it. I'm gonna pull in this quick open hat, and then I think I'm gonna bring this open hat in and probably reverse it. And then I might throw in a bongo just to accent the beat. So yeah, when it comes to Pyrex beats, sound selection is very key. You wanna have like really hard-hitting drums. Pyrex usually uses he's notorious for using rim shots instead of claps, but you can also use a clap. The hi-hat has to be, doesn't have to be, but usually it's like a shorter one. So yeah, and the 808 is usually a short spins 808 or a Zay 808 or some variation of those two. So yeah, let's get into the drum sequencing. Okay, so now that I have the sound selection down and I have all the sounds that I want to use, I want to get into the drum sequencing. So I'm going to have the 2-step hi-hat pattern going and the rim going just as like a guide so I can lay down my 808 pattern. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to boost the 808, and I'm going to turn the volume up, and then I'm going to make sure it's cutting itself. And then I'm going to find the key of the sample. So I'm going to try to match the 808 to the root note. Okay, so I believe the sample's in D sharp minor, so I'm going to start with that, and yeah, I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. Make sure the 808 is in mono. Okay, so I'm going to just lay down a quick pattern. Okay, so now that I copy this over, I'm going to add some variety. so that sounds good to me. And Pyrex does that a lot in a lot of his beats, where like at the very end of the bar, he gets really crazy with the 808s. So yeah, you just want to make sure that the 808 is not too much, but you want to have you know, some 808 rolls and some variety with the 808s, just to make it really unique and interesting. So yeah, let's move on to the rest of the drums. Alright, so now that I got the 808 pattern down, I want to get into the hi-hats. So right now I just have the 2-set pattern going, and it doesn't sound too bad, but we are making a Pyrex beat, so we got to go crazy with the hi-hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the sample pack that I just dropped. I dropped sample pack with 25 samples, and it also has 50 hi-hat midis in it. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to drop some hi-hat midis in and maybe change it up to make it fit the beat a little bit more. Alright, so I like this one a lot, but I'm going to add some more to it, some more variety. At the very end, I'm going to go to 1/6 of a beat and just go down like this. Yeah, that sounds. So yeah, that's it for the hi-hats. Now I'm gonna add the open hats. So I got this first one, this quick one right here. Okay, I'm gonna just leave it like that. Open hat, reverse. So I'm gonna add that right before the rim hits. So let's see. Right there. Yeah, perfect. And then I'm just gonna copy that over as well. Okay, and I think that's all I need. I might not even use this bongo. Like I said, Pyrex beats, you don't want to add too much, but you want to add the complex hi-hats and the 808s because that's his style. But you don't want to add so much that nobody can use the beat, you know what I mean? So now that the drum pattern is sequenced, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get into the mixing. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull everything all the way down, and then I'm just going to go step by step. I mean, there's only 5 sounds total, so it's not that much. But I'm going to just go through and show how I usually level everything and maybe add some EQs and all that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this melody up, and I want it to be usually around like 18 to 15 dB. Okay, so that's perfect, and then I'm going to EQ out the low end, and then that's it for the melody. Next thing is a rim. I think I'm gonna EQ some of the high out of this, boost some of the mids. Okay, then the hi-hats. Okay, what I'm gonna do with the hi-hats is I'm gonna EQ out some of the low end. And I'm going to boost some of these frequencies. And just to make them sound a little bit more gritty, I'm going to add some distortion. And some reverb. Okay, then the 808. The 808's got to be super loud, but not too loud. It's probably going to be, yeah, right at like 3 dB. And then I'm going to pan these open hats in different directions. Okay, and that's pretty much it for the mixing. Yeah, just some simple leveling and some EQ, a little bit unique on the hi-hats, but other than that, really simple. So let's get into the final thing where we just sequence out the beat, and then we're done. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to split the channel into different patterns. So we have them all right here. And then I want to see how I want to start off the beat. Okay, I don't like this part, so I'm going to just leave that out. Okay, so I think I'm going to start it out like this with everything going, just so it comes in really aggressive, and then I'm going to cut it out right here and then have it come back in. Okay, now I'm gonna add a little like everything's gonna drop right here, and then I'm gonna have it slowly come back in, and then it's gonna drop on the hook. Okay, so that sounds good to me. It's good. Everything's gonna drop, and then the hi-hats are gonna come in, the rim hits, 808 hits, and then into the hook. Okay, another thing you want to do, I forgot to do this, but I'll show it now, is you can either envelope the 808. So you can go here, attack, hold. So you can control the 808 like that, or you can go in here and you can add they're called ghost notes. Put a ghost note at the very end, turn the velocity all the way down. And what that does is it just stops the 808 from bleeding after the pattern stops. So like if the pattern ends and the 808 keeps playing like into the verse, it just sounds weird. You want it to stop right when the pattern stops. So yeah, there's two different ways you can do that. I'm gonna have everything but the hi-hats and the rim going, and then the 808's gonna drop in. I'm gonna copy this over, and I'm gonna have all the drums come back right here. Then I'm gonna have a little bridge. So it's gonna kind of do the same thing as the intro, but a little bit different, where the rim starts playing, then the hi-hats and the 808, and then it's gonna go back into the hook. Also, for the second part of the verse, I'm gonna cut the hi-hats out for a little bit, so it's gonna sound like this. I'm gonna play this part again, and the rim, then the hi-hat, 808. Just to bring it back in. And then into the hook here. I'm just going to copy the hook over. And then we're going to do another verse, so we just copy that over as well. And then we're going to do one final hook at the end. We're going to skip the bridge part here for this hook. So it's just going to go straight from the verse to the hook. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the hi-hats out at the end of the second part of this verse, just for some more variety. And then we're just going to let the melody play for the outro, and that's it. That's how I sequence. So then I'm gonna just go in, grab my tag, and that's it. Once you tag the beat, you can export it, send it out, do whatever. So that's pretty much it. The beat is sequenced, everything's mixed, we got the master. Super simple. So yeah, that's how I approach making a Pyrex style beat. We got the sample pulled in, low BPM, dark sample. We got the crazy 808s, the crazy hi-hats, everything else pretty simple mixing. So like I said, I'll leave a link down in the description for my drum kit and my sample pack with the hi-hat midis. Hopefully you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.